say I hate you, I mean it. If I say I love you, I mean it. If I say I hate you, I mean it. If I say I love you.
Hey man, this your boy Push Up Slime. We about to react to a new video today, y'all. We about to be reacting to the P. Diddy situation, man. We gonna see what they talk about this P. Diddy situation. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy, you feel me? No Diddy, no Diddy. Hey, no Diddy, y'all, no Diddy. But look, for real, no Diddy. Let's get it. Let's get up into this video, man. Let's get it, let go.
Diddy's team is back at it, calling for the entire indictment against him to be thrown out. That means they want all the federal charges against Diddy to be dropped. The defense says there have been blatant violations of Diddy's rights, all at the hands of the government, alleging they're spying on him from behind bars.
Spying on him?
In a newly filed motion, Diddy's team lists out all the ways they believe the prosecution has sabotaged the case. We're taking a look at all 31 pages of that new motion and breaking it all down with former federal prosecutor Gene Rossi. I'm Sierra Gillespie, and this is Law and Crime News.
Hold up, they said they spying on this man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Of course, man, CEO's got spy on this man. You never know, man. He probably be trying to hit a celly in the behind the cage and stuff, bruh. You know what I'm saying? No Diddy. He probably trying to turn a whole Diddy party in that joint, bruh.
Lots to cover today, so let's jump right in. P. Diddy's defense team is calling for a hearing to determine what violations they say the government has made in the case and what it means moving forward. 55-year-old Sean Combs, known worldwide as the once-beloved music icon P. Diddy, now sits in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn on federal charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And it's really Diddy's stay at MDC that's the focus of this newly filed motion. Specifically, the raids that happened between October 28th and November 1st. During that time, some paperwork was collected from Diddy's MDC jail. Right away, the defense argued this was privileged information, and federal judge Arun Subramanian actually agreed with them. He ruled that the prosecution must throw out all that info and exclude it completely from their case against Diddy. All that happened at a hearing last month, but now the defense is requesting another hearing. Right from the top of the motion, the defense comes out swinging, writing, quote, "The government exploited Mr. Combs' detention by engaging in unfair and unconstitutional tactics that have interfered with his ability to work with his attorneys and make it impossible for his attorneys to provide effective assistance of counsel. The evidence shows the government is using Mr. Combs' detention to spy on him and invade his confidential communications."
Dang, bro, the government spying on Diddy, bro. They trying to make sure they get this man. They really trying to make sure they get this man. But I ain't gonna lie, bro. He been doing stuff for a long time, bro. Behind closed doors, bro. But it just finally catching up, bro. He been doing stuff way, like, around, like, Biggie and Tupac type era. I don't know, man. That's crazy.
With his counsel. The defense alleges that the government is working with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's listed here as the BOP. Diddy's team says the prosecution has teamed up with someone referred to as Investigator 1, the person who initially gathered those papers from Diddy's cell. According to the defense, prosecutors claim they did not request this search, yet they concede Investigator 1 has been investigating Mr. Combs at their direction all along, gathering evidence they have used and hope to continue using against Mr. Combs. Now, the defense says these papers were handwritten privileged notes that basically provided a roadmap of Diddy's defense. These papers would have given Investigator 1 a preview into Mr. Combs' entire defense strategy, his thoughts and impressions regarding the evidence and charges, and other classic examples of work product. So that's things like trial strategy, Diddy's opinion of the case, plans for the defense's investigation moving forward, any questions about the investigation, and even possible trial witnesses and testimony. The motion goes on to say, quote, "This court's intervention is imperative to safeguard Mr. Combs's constitutional rights and ability to defend himself against these very serious charges, because the government has proven time and again that it will intentionally continue to violate those rights if given the chance." The defense even brings George Orwell into their argument, saying the government is using Big Brother tactics and an illegal search of the defense camp. I want to thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring today's Law and Crime YouTube takeover. Life truly can be so
I ain't gonna lie, y'all, man. I think Diddy gonna be cooked, bruh. I don't think he gonna ever get out, bruh. They try to make sure they cook him. They doing illegal searches and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They doing a whole lot of like corrupt stuff. They trying to make sure they get him, bro. You know what I'm saying? The government, they don't go by the books, bro. They be doing underhand work, bro. But I don't know, bro. But Diddy, bro, situation, bro, is crazy, bro. All that baby oil, all this, like, racketeering, prostitution, bro. With mans and stuff and all that, bro. I don't know, bro. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's crazy, bro.
Unpredictable. And if you're seriously injured, your case could be worth millions. With over 1,000 attorneys, Morgan moving forward,
Let's skip this.
Obtained because of the search. The defense also mentions Diddy's Sixth Amendment rights. Apparently, these were violated because the prosecutors understood the privileged nature of the documents up front, yet proceeded unilaterally and without caution with the goal of taking advantage of their improper access to privileged material to keep Mr. Combs detained and try to obtain a conviction. So basically, the feds knew this paperwork was privileged, but moved forward with it anyway, at least according to the defense. Those two things combined, according to the defense, mean Diddy's Fifth Amendment rights were also violated. The motion reads, quote, "This extraordinary violation of Mr. Combs's Fourth and Sixth Amendment rights also constitutes outrageous government conduct that violates his Fifth Amendment right to due process." So where did
they trying to make sure they violate everything on him, bro? All the rights they be saying and stuff like that, they trying to make sure all that's taken away, bro. They don't care about your rights, bro. They gonna make sure they take all that away. Plus the case that he got, they trying to make sure they take all that away, bro. They ain't trying to hear like no First Amendment right, no Third or Fourth or Fifth Amendment right. They gonna make sure they terrorize you the whole way. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro.
we go from here? Well, the defense has a plan for that too. They say a hearing is particularly necessary because the government's description of the events does not align with the defense team's understanding of what transpired. So the defense is requesting discovery and a hearing that would determine exactly what alleged violations the government made.
Bro.
This hearing would determine to what extent the prosecution used Diddy's privileged notes to develop leads or new evidence. It would also be used to determine what info the government learned from Investigator 1, what Investigator 1 themselves learned, and whether this privileged info was conveyed to anyone else. So this hearing would show if any violations were made and also determine a procedure to avoid future prejudice in the case. The defense has a few suggestions for this too. They mention the prosecutorial taint team and their filter team. These teams are comprised of government attorneys and criminal investigators. They review documents seized by the government and then determine whether they include any privileged info. In this case, the defense team isn't impressed with the taint team, writing, quote, "It is inconceivable that a taint team attorney identified obviously privileged communications on a page, marked it as such, and yet did not recognize the remainder of the page referencing lawyers and paralegals as also privileged. The taint team has proven itself to be completely incapable of performing the most basic privilege review." With that in mind, the defense suggests a special master be used in the future instead of a taint team. They also request the disqualification of any prosecutors who may have been tainted by access to the privileged materials. The defense list of demands continues, though, also requesting that the government stop monitoring Diddy's communications with his legal team. And if all else fails, they request the dismissal of the indictment based on evidence. The motion says, "Dismissal of the indictment may therefore be warranted upon development of the full factual record at a hearing. Dismissal is appropriate not only where the conduct of the government has been manifestly and avowedly corrupt, but even where the conduct merely involves intentional intrusion into the attorney-client domain, resulting in prejudice to the defendant's case. So there's a lot happening in this.
Damn, bro. I hope like Diddy, if Diddy have some good lawyers, bro, and he beat this case, bro. Man, that's how you know the system corrupt, bro. And he beat this case is crazy. If he beat this case, that's crazy. He gotta have some hell of a lawyers, bro, to beat this case, bro. But the stuff that they say they got on him allegedly, I don't know, bro. I think he gotta throw the key away, bro. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. He gotta throw the key away. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be throwing. You know what I'm saying? If he going for life, he gonna throw a whole Diddy party up in that joint, bro. He gonna have a Diddy party up in there.
This motion, we're gonna break it down, but first we've got to turn to former federal prosecutor Gene Rossi. Thank you so much for coming on with us today, Gene.
Thank you.
Okay, so one of the main allegations in this massive motion is that the government is spying on P. Diddy while he's behind bars.
Spying.
What do you make of that?
Well, first off, the government has the right, not necessarily to spy, but to monitor activities of prisoners in jail or in incarceration. And so the government does have a right to ensure the safety not only of a prisoner, but anybody that the prisoner comes in contact. Right. Here, what may have happened, allegedly, is that an investigator was acting sort of as a spy and going beyond that legitimate right to investigate safety issues, occurring crimes or things like that, bringing contraband into the jail or the prison. What the investigator is alleged to have done is execute an inspection or search of Mr. Diddy's Diddy's cell, and during that process, he or she got hold of notes that are privileged, confidential, and protected by the attorney-client privilege. That is a problem. If it was done intentionally, if it was done recklessly.
If this was done intentionally, as you said, huge problem.
Crazy,
but how are
bro.
both sides going to determine if it was done intentionally?
Well, the judge is going to determine whether it was intentional or reckless. But the government is going to argue that we conducted a legitimate inspection of the jail cell because we were concerned about ongoing criminal activity. And during that search of the cell, we came across notes that may have been relevant to why we conducted the search in the beginning. The defense is going to argue it was a pretextual search. It was done intentionally. And then when the investigator went in,
crazy, bro.
He or she went beyond their scope and they seized information and documents that had no relationship to the alleged purpose for the inspection.
It's interesting because the prosecution says this sweep of the jail cells was planned.
Bro, they trying to make sure they cook this man, bro. They doing illegal searches and stuff, having investigators and stuff, searches of cell. If they find like any like contraband and stuff like that, it's like, damn, bro. They try to make sure they cook Diddy. You know what I'm saying? They try to make sure they cook Diddy. You know what I'm saying? But it is crazy, bro. I been knew something was weird about this man, bro. I swear. I knew it was something weird. And I ain't gonna lie, it's allegedly right now, but I know they're gonna find something, bro.
Even before Diddy was incarcerated. But the defense is saying this was an unlawful search specifically to look inside of Diddy's cell. And part of this motion is the defense saying, we're worried that it's going to happen again. That investigator one, as it's referred to in the motion, this person who may or may not be working with the prosecution would go back again and obtain more information that's privileged. Is that a possibility?
Well, anything's a possibility. What I will say is this. This motion is going to serve two purposes. One, they could get evidence suppressed and possibly get the prosecution kicked off the case, and you have to have another prosecution team put on. But this motion also is sort of like a hand check in basketball. Hey, Judge, we need to communicate without inhibitions, with reasonable limitations, if you will, because we have to prepare for trial. And I got to add this. When a defendant is detained, it is incredibly burdensome for a defense attorney to prepare that client for trial. It's much, much easier to prepare a defendant for trial if they're on bond and they have the permission to come to your office, you can go to their home, and they don't have the limitations of handcuffs and bars. So Mr. Combs is at a great disadvantage now because this case has countless documents, gigabytes, terabytes of information that he will probably have to go through with his attorneys, and it's going to be hard for him to put on an effective defense if he's incarcerated. So that's what's going to happen here in terms of this motion. A hand check in basketball, and it may be successful because they have made, on its face, they have made legitimate good faith arguments that these notes and the search arguably violated the Constitution.
You brought up a good point. A lot of the time we're talking about Diddy wanting to be released on bail, obviously because he would rather be in a penthouse in New York as opposed to a cell in Brooklyn. That part makes sense, but the other half makes sense too, the fact that it would be easier for his defense to communicate with him, text him, just drop in randomly. So you're right. I'm glad that you pointed that out. Another thing the defense is pointing out too about these notes is that the judge said, okay, we got to throw.
And I ain't gonna lie, y'all forgetting Diddy got bank, bro. He got money. All this going on, bro. He got money, so it's gonna be something like the YSL case, bro. Not similar to like the Young Thug case. It's like it's gonna be like long until they actually like put him away, cause the trial gonna be for a long time, bro. Until they found him guilty, bro. I don't know, bro. This stuff is getting real wicked. It's getting real wicked, especially with the baby oil, bro. I don't know what to say about that baby oil, bro. He's going crazy. They told me they found 1,000 baby oils in this room. Like, what you doing with 1,000 baby oils, bro? Know exactly what you doing, man. You better get down with the dudes. You know what I'm saying? Knew this man was on the DL, bro. That's crazy, bro. He been doing it for a long time, bro.
These out. The prosecution cannot use any of these. Get rid of them. So they're out. But the defense is worried that potentially they could have read something in these notes, gotten a lead, investigated more, and gathered more information from info they first got from these notes.
Damn, man.
That's pretty convoluted. I mean, how do you even work that out?
It's called Wong Sung, WONGSUN, Wong Sung versus United States. It's the classic fruit of the poisonous tree. If you violate somebody's constitutional rights, whether it's right to counsel or whether it's the Fourth Amendment search and seizure, if you violate that right or those rights, any evidence derived from that poisonous tree, if you will, the fruit, that also has to be suppressed. So the argument here for the government, for the defense, is they illegally seized these notes. These notes have strategy, tactics, and impressions of the defendant and the attorneys on how to beat the charges. The prosecutors looked at it, got a taste of it. Therefore, that was the fruit of the poisonous tree. Those notes are now in the mind of the prosecutor, and that prosecutor, one, should be struck from the case, and two, the entire indictment should be struck because there's no cure once you let the horse out of the barn.
You brought up something that's huge in all of this. First of all, Diddy's team is calling for the prosecution to be completely removed, a new set of people brought in, but also, as you pointed out...
And I don't blame you to bring in a new set of people, new prosecution, everything, because certain prosecutions, like prosecutors are like corrupt, dirty. Ain't nothing good in the justice. Ain't nothing good in the court field, bro. everything is like done corruptly. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing done like legitimately. Ain't nothing like done good, bro. So it's a lot of like underhand work they be doing, bro. And I just feel bad because it's another black man, bro. Another statistic as ourselves, like as our black people, bro. Being in the cell, bro. Being in the jail. It's another number. You know what I'm saying? So they gonna do anything, you know what I'm saying, not even by the book, to make sure he get the needle, bro. They trying to make sure they trying to like get him away. So now his team make sure they trying to get like a new prosecution, all that, probably a new judge, whatever, bro. They need everything new because the ones that's doing now, they trying to make sure they take him away. And they doing like stuff illegally, and they doing stuff like they violating his rights, all of his rights. So it only makes sense, bro.
Having the indictment totally, completely thrown out. What are the odds of that happening?
The odds of that happening, a total dismissal of the indictment, the odds are very, very tough for the defense team. What likely could happen, or possibly could happen, is a prosecutor or prosecutors or law enforcement agents, this investigator, they could be removed from the case, and the government would have to put on a team of prosecutors that are completely untainted, if you will, from any of alleged violations of the right to counsel or the Fourth Amendment.
Right, see?
They talk a lot about the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment throughout this entire motion. What do you think? Were those rights violated in this case?
Well, if you take the evidence as presented by the defense in the light most favorable to the defense, there appears to be a violation. Another possible violation, as I read this motion, is that there were calls made between Mr. Combs and his attorneys that were monitored. Now, let me respond to that. If the defendant uses a telephone line that has a message that is going to be recorded, it doesn't matter with whom you are speaking on that call. If you have a message that says your call is going to be recorded, then there's no right to privacy.
Right.
So if that's the case, the defendant, Mr. Combs, could be talking to his lawyers, and that's just stupidity. That's ineffective assistance of counsel. However, the defense could make an argument that there were occasions when we had no way to get a hold of Mr. Combs. We had no other option but to use a phone call or a phone that may be monitored. Right. What I do in those cases as a defense attorney, I put on the record on the call, this is the only way.
And plus, when you in jail, bro, and you making a call, bro, you know what I'm saying? They monitoring your conversations anyway, so it's that's for you to feel. So when you making a call to your lawyer, to anybody, you gotta like know what you're doing, basically. And plus, if you say something and they could use that against you, see, the system is for you to fail, bro. The system is not for you to like. It's for you to fail. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's what the system's about. So it's a setup every time. They say you can make a call, but it's gonna be recorded. So basically, that you got talking code. Whatever you trying to like get to the person, man, you gotta say something in code before they won't recognize. But I don't know, man. This situation is crazy, bro.
I'm able to communicate. It is an emergency. It is essential. If you're listening, please stop. I have no other way to communicate. I have done that in the event that they may be listening. So I don't know what the circumstances are.
The defense argues things like that the prosecution was listening in on these phone calls that they shouldn't have been. And again, these notes that they looked through that have trial strategy, both of these things obviously privileged information. So the defense is saying the prosecution's team that goes through and makes sure, the taint team as it's called, makes sure that all the information that's privileged remains privileged and away from the prosecution. The defense is pointing the finger at them and saying, this is not good enough. You guys are not doing a good job. Do you think that ruins the credibility of the prosecution a bit?
Yes, it does. If the prosecution is conducting a taint process and it has a taint team, and allegedly that taint team is not crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, then that tarnishes the credibility of the government big. And that is not a good position for prosecutors to be if that happened. These are just allegations. What a judge may do in this case, and if I were the judge, I would do it. I would appoint a special master. Get a retired judge or get a magistrate judge unrelated to the case and have that special master do the taint process. So if there are documents that are seized, you put them in an envelope if you think they may be privileged.
Hey guys, the phone had died on me, y'all. So I hope y'all got most of the information from the P. Diddy situation. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. The situation is crazy. I'm mad that my phone died. Hopefully y'all got all the information. I see y'all in the next video. This your boy Push Up Slime, and I'm out of here on game.